Are we ready?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for a great breakfast meeting. Lots of very interesting information, and great to see so many people wanting to join us for our Fagseminar. We'll do a little hybrid between English and Norwegian through the day, so because there are some English speaking here, but yeah. So before I welcome you all, just some practical information. The emergency exits are there and there. There are no the fib, I can't say that in English. On the house, but there are several around, so you can check the app 113 if needed. And we're also taping this meeting, so if there are anybody who feel uncomfortable being on film, just talk to Bettina over here. Very good. So, welcome to the Fagseminar. It's very cool to see so many people who are engaged in the same problems as us in one room. We're looking forward to a very interesting and cool day with lots of knowledge sharing and learnings. Who we are, this is Anna, and my name.
Hello.
And my name is Astrid. We are working in two small consultancy firms, Shepherd Consulting and Human Rights, where we work with solving plastic pollution problems, 1 ton at a time. Probably like many of you. And we are jointly involved currently in 4 projects in Nepal, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Uganda. One of these we'll hear a little bit more about from Nora later. And then some of these were presented in last year's Plastic Day. We will also share lots of learnings from what we are working on.
So this is actually the 3rd Plastic Day being arranged here in Oslo. The first one back in 2021 was also arranged by NGI and GAD. So they've been doing this, and I think with Engineers Without Borders. They've been doing this now for a long time. And back in 2021, the focus was generally on waste management plastic waste management in low and medium income countries. Last year, the focus was more specific on informal waste sector, and this year the focus is on technology development. But as noted earlier today, we can't look at technology just in a vacuum, or how you say it in English. You have to see it also in relation to making sustainable business models and making full value chains for the plastic. So today we'll hear a lot of presentations about different projects, and with a specific focus on the technologies they have used in these projects or that they're planning to use, and not just on the machines. So we're looking very much forward to hearing all these presentations, and I want to say a warm thank you to everyone who's said yes to joining us here today and presenting their projects. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
So like we were saying, this is an arena for learning and knowledge sharing, and we really want the vibe to be very amicable and fun. So we hope to both share positive learnings from projects today, things that went right, but also, like Anna said, focus on challenges, because like we heard earlier, there are many. And when we put all these great minds together in a room, we believe that we can find several solutions and new solutions, and also share things that like problems that I have had in my project might be a solution to something that Anna has had in her project, and vice versa. So we want to ensure that we don't sit on each our little tue and hoard our solutions. So very happy to see you all. Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, nothing dangerous, can everyone who are already working in this sector with plastic waste management in low or medium income countries raise their hands? Wow, that's almost all of you. That's very good, because then we have some experience to draw upon, we can have some very good discussions throughout the day and also for the case later. But I also saw there were some people here who are not already working in the sector. And I think that's very important too, that we get some new eyes into this field with experience from other sectors and who can ask new questions, open questions, so that we always evolve. So I hope we get a good mix of people in the casework later today, and I hope also that all of you will take the word and ask questions if you have questions throughout the day. Because only then we can grow and learn from each other.
Should we look at the program? So we have a great program. We're gonna start with some presentation, a couple of quick fire sessions, as we call it. We've given each presenter 10 minutes for presenting big projects, and as we always know, there's so much to tell. But we hope you will keep your time. Anna will hand you a 3-minute and 1-minute warning sign while you are presenting. We will also, we encourage you not to ask questions during the presentation. Each quick fire session will be finished with a 20-minute bulk of questions and discussions, so we hope we get some good discussions here in the room. And then there will be a lunch at 11:45, maybe 12. We pushed the program a little bit, so we had some time for mingling after the breakfast meeting. And then all of this information will accumulate into a workshop and a case work that we've prepared that will start around 2:15, where we will work on a case and then present it, and we will mix you into groups to do this knowledge sharing we're talking about. And then for those of you who have signed up for the dinner, we'll stay at the dinner here at Kulturhuset and spend a nice evening together. So we're looking forward to that. So then I guess...
One more thing before we start. When using the mic, the ones of you who are going to present, you need to have it real close to your mouth so people can hear also in the back. And we've put around some stickers on the tables so you can all write your names and where you're working, for example, as a conversation starter rather than walking around. So you can write your names now or in the first break or whatever.
Great. Then I guess it's just all that remains is to present our first presenter, Andreas from the World Wildlife Fund, who will talk about scaling impact in TV-aksjonen and several projects they are supporting. Welcome, Andreas.
Hi, good morning everyone, and thanks for the floor. As you said, my name is Andreas Myhrvold. I'm program advisor for Plastic Smart Cities in WWF Norway, and I'm working on the TV-aksjonen program in Southeast Asia. And today I'm going to talk specifically about how we are trying to achieve more impact and scale solutions through that program. A few words about TV-aksjonen first. For those of you who don't know, it's the biggest telethon in Norway, and we got the award that in 2020 and raised about 240 million NOK in collaboration with the Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation. And this is going to implement our Plastic Smart City initiative in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines, where the overall aim is to significantly reduce leakage of plastic waste from 9 cities in those 4 countries by working together with local authorities on policy development, different measures to reduce use of key plastic waste, and also to improve waste management infrastructure. what we have been facing is quite a lot of challenges, to be honest. First caused by delays due to COVID-19 and also difficulties finding solutions that were ready to scale and to achieve higher impact. So this year we decided to have an open call to try to identify those kinds of solutions that we hadn't been able to do through our normal program work. And we are focused on finding solutions to improve collection and recycling rates. So we're rather sort of downstream focus on tech and infrastructure. And we have awarded about 17.5 million NOK to 4 projects, and I'm going to focus on the three of them that are in Indonesia. So the first one is a joint partnership between 2 Indonesian waste management companies called Middle Limba and Ecosystem and Indian-Dutch social enterprise SweepSmart, which some of you may have heard about. And what they were facing was that in isolation they struggled to find impact due to inefficient sorting systems and huge transportation costs. So their solution is to join forces and together create a Plastdagen recovery hub where they are using the Ecosystem's app-based collection system and together with Middle Limba's recycling operational capacities and SweepSmart's sorting centers. Yeah, so you can kind of see the setup of that system here. So it's really a combination of technical solutions, I would say probably rather low tech, and expertise that will drive impact in this project. And we are aiming for 1,800 tons per year of plastic recycling and about 12,000 tons per year of collection. And then the second project is also an Indonesian waste management company called Waste for Change, and they are it says formalizing the informal waste system. I'm not sure if it's formalizing, it's integrating and improving the informal waste system. So they are working together with local junk shops, creating what they call Waste for Change supplier partnerships, where they are providing a lot of capacity building, training, investing in equipment to scale up junk shop operations and also provide market access. And an important feature here is also to improve health and safety standards. And here the sort of the technology insert is Waste for Change traceability app that enables access to plastic credit schemes. So they have a partnership with Repurpose Global, which is a global plastic credit company. And that is really then enabling more inflow of capital and enabling them to also recycle low value plastics. And then the last one is really a startup. So as I mentioned, we were looking for ready to scale solutions and we're more looking towards more established companies and systems, but we also wanted to invest in this because we thought it has a lot of potential. So it's a tech startup in the waste sector in Indonesia, and what they are doing is to develop a quite sort of broad digital platform that will serve both waste pickers and junk shops, but also larger recycling centers and provide links between those and brand owners. And at the same time, we are also providing training and support to around 100 junk shops that will be part of this project. And they are hoping to recycle around 8,000 tons of plastic during 2024 as a result. So here, similar to Waste for Change, a key component is then using technology to connect different actors and enabling inflow of capital that we otherwise wouldn't be able to get access to. And here's a lot of text on this slide. So I wanted to say a few words about what we have learned from this process. One learning was that we got 33 applications, and almost all of them were from Indonesia. We were looking for solutions in the Philippines and Thailand as well, but we see that kind of the ecosystem of actors in Indonesia is very huge compared to a lot of the other projects that we are working in. The main learning point for us as WWF was that we saw that a lot of the private initiatives are relying on plastic credit systems for financial sustainability beyond project funding, and that is especially the case when you're trying to process low-value plastics. And then, of course, WWF as an environmental organization, we have issues with plastic crediting. We are afraid that it can contribute to greenwashing, and it also has an inherent focus on downstream solutions. But we do see that the kind of the credit ecosystem is developing with more third-party verification systems, for example, so it is improving. But of course, we hope that with more effective global rules, in particular the global plastic treaty, which is being negotiated, will create a better policy landscape that will also provide more sustainable finance to recycling operations worldwide. And then the other learning, which is not directly linked to those 3 projects that we have awarded grants to, is that we see that upcycling is very often a preferred solution for low-value plastics, and in some cases we support that, but we also think that it's a challenge because it takes materials out of the circular loop, and sometimes it also you end up also with projects that have inherent leakage risks in themselves as well. So that's also a challenge. Yeah, that was actually it. I spoke too fast, I guess, but thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Andreas. You nailed the quickfire. Next up, we'll move continents and hear about the works of the project Waste at Work in Senegal. And it's Hilde and Katrine that will present that for us. So, welcome.
Waste at Work et prosjekt som vi har sammen med Ingeniører uten grenser. Organisasjonen en liten som heter Ned Frams venner, som dere neppe har hørt om. Men det det andre prosjektet vi har i Senegal, og det også det andre prosjektet vi har med støtte fra Handelens Miljøfond. Og det vi veldig takknemlige for. Vi startet i 2020 med det et ryddeprosjekt, men vi har en stor bredde i det, der vi går fra rydding til at vi underviser folk om faren med plast, og vi har kontakt med politikere, og vi lager belegningsstein, paving bricks, i en fabrikk vi bygde i det første prosjektet vi fikk. Og i 2021, da fikk vi med oss Ingeniører uten grenser, og det var det game changer det heter? Eller i hvert fall, det var veldig, veldig viktig. Og som en partner, og vi søkte og fikk et prosjekt til via Handelens Miljøfond, som det det vi jobber med nå, som heter Waste at Work. Og Ingeniører uten grenser, de har altså gitt oss 2 ingeniører, en som jobber med solanlegg, og en som jobber med smelteprosessen, som en stor utfordring, som vi kommer tilbake til. Vi hadde også NTNU-studenter som leverte masteroppgave etter å ha vært på besøk hos oss i våren i fjor. Og de hadde en mentor som faktisk endte opp som prosjektleder. Hun står der. Ja, Katrine. Og vi har cirka en måned igjen av prosjektet. Ja, unnskyld. Heldigvis et år. Ja. Vi snakker at teknologi hovedgreia her i dag, men raising awareness, det noe av det viktigste vi gjør. Vi har møter og ryddeaksjoner, og vi har besøk på alle skoler. Vi bygger, som dere ser, avfallsgreier, avfallskasser, vi lager sånne mottaksstasjoner, og de 2 gutta der oppe, de vel de som bærer, og kommer til å måtte bære prosjektet videre når vi ferdige. Og det vi har oppdaget at samarbeid en ja, men det I hvert fall samarbeid liksom veldig, veldig viktig. Og noen ganger det vanskelig. Ja, akkurat. Det I stedet. Ja, da går vi. Vi kan på neste. Ja, da vi på fabrikken vår, som ligger et sted som heter Kerivan. Og den heter Kerivan Plastic av den grunn. Og den off the grid, den ikke strøm der. Så vi utrolig glade for dette flotte solpanelet som vi fikk. Og det har stor kapasitet. Vi bruker det til nesten alt, men vi har ikke klart å få det til å funke å bruke det til smelteprosessen. Og det som jeg allerede har nevnt, et problem vi kommer til å bale med. Vi lager også sånne, I tillegg til å lage sånne belegningsstein, så har vi også begynt å lage små fliser til bord og som kan brukes av kjøkkenbenk og sånne ting. Vi har ofte problemer med å finne de materialene vi trenger lokalt, og det tror vi et gjennomgående problem for alle I sånne land hvor vi som lik Senegal. Men jo mer vi blir kjent med forholdene I området vårt, jo morsommere det å se at ressursene liksom bare popper opp foran oss. Vi har inngått et samarbeid med en veldig bra yrkesskole, som hjelper oss med å forbedre utstyret vårt, blant annet en shredder som vi har jobbet mye med. Og den mannen til venstre her, han heter Ibrahima, og han en fantastisk person. Jeg vet ikke om dere ser at viljen lyser ut av øynene på ham, men han har altså startet sitt eget resirkuleringssted. Dessverre bor han midt oppi det, sammen med familien sin. Men vi har et godt samarbeid med ham, og vi har tenkt å fortsette med det, og kanskje bygge på det videre.
Det som skjer at de blander plastikken, og så de smelter det, så blander de det sammen, baker en deig, og så bruker de sand. Og så lager de den blandingen som da etter hvert blir til de flisene som vi ser her.
Kan jeg sikkert gå videre, så ja, takk. Det var en liten, mitt navn Katrine Karnes. Jeg jobber egentlig som ingeniør I noe som heter Sveko, rådgiveringeniør. Og jeg var heldig og fikk være med som mentor til en av studentene som Hilde hadde fått ned til Senegal, og ble forelsket I prosjektet og I Senegal, og fant ut at det her må jeg utnytte, så jeg har vært et halvt år der nede og jobbet med den gjengen her. Det her filmen er fra fabrikken, som Hilde sier, som var bygd opp, og de var allerede i gang med produksjon av disse steinene når jeg kom ned. Sånn så det ut, og de hadde også samlet inn masse plast, og det hadde de gjort egentlig i mange år. Så prosjektet var godt i gang. Min jobb var egentlig som prosjektleder og prøve å sette ting litt i system, og se om de klarte å effektivisere og få ting til å fungere enda mer optimalt. Og så var det å implementere teknologi av maskiner og det utstyret som kom. Teknologi snakker vi veldig ofte om, og da tenker vi veldig mye maskiner og det som vi har snakket om før, men det som har vært snakket om mye her i dag også, tidligere, er jo prosesser og verdikjeder. Og en av de tingene jeg lærte veldig første gang jeg kom ned der, jeg er ingeniør, men jeg har aldri jobbet med plast før, men plast er ikke plast, og avfall er så mye mer enn det. Her henger en sånn enkel 7 forskjellige typer plast. Så en av de første barrierene er jo hvordan får man folk til å skjønne at plast er ikke plast, og hvordan får man de til å tenke og skjønne at det er viktig å sortere, og hvordan skal vi sortere. Og vi vet det nesten ikke selv. Og vi sier at vi er gode i Norge, ja det er vi, men er vi egentlig så veldig gode i Norge og kompetansemessig? Det som er fint når man kommer ned der, er ressurser. Det har man nok av. Det er ynglet med folk der. Hver dag var det x antall nye personer på fabrikken som man skulle sette i arbeid. Og sortering ble satt i gang. Vasking, alt er enkelt, lav terskel, men det fungerer hvis man klarer å sette det i et system. Det er fullt mulig å få det til, men man må ha noen system og prosesser. Produksjonen er veldig enkel. Man som sagt lager så her er det snakk om belegningsstein som har liksom vært produktet. Det er klart at produkter og hva vi egentlig lager, det er også en prosess som vi bør tenke veldig mye på i forhold til et miljø- og sirkulært perspektiv. Hva er det egentlig vi lager? Lager vi et nytt problem av det vi lager? Men et sted må man begynne, og dette fungerer. Så var egentlig min jobb, så hadde vi kjøpt maskiner, og vi hadde, eller ingeniørene som fra IG, hadde valgt å gå for ferdige maskiner fra Europa. Det er alltid en sånn, hva skal man gjøre? Tanken her var å få ned noe som kan fungere, overføre den kompetansen til de lokale, som Hilde sa, at vi har et samarbeid med en teknisk fagskole, de lokale, få de til å lære, se, og at de kan utvikle ting videre selv. En shredder her, som står her, som er kjøpt fra Precious Plastic i Nederland. Og en enkel injection-maskin bak der, som er fra Frankrike. De ble implementert når de endelig kom ned, og så har de egentlig blitt satt i gang og er i drift i dag. Shredderen lager granulater som vi kan smelte plastikk. Jeg synes det var litt gøy bilde. Det sier litt om det her med ressurser. Det er ikke noe problem når maskinen ikke er festet, og bare putter vi et par afrikanere på det, og så fungerer det helt fint. Utfordringen er at de er veldig lett, så du må ha et par. Jeg kunne sitte der alene, men de måtte være flere. Utfordringer.
Ja.
Kan jeg ta kjapt, så skal du få...
20 sekunder.
Ja, da skal Hilde få overta.
Ja, ok. Ja, ja det er, som jeg nevnte, så har vi problemer med kontrollen på smeltekjelen. Problemet med å holde temperaturen, regulere temperaturen, og også med en løsning for å få varmen i kjelen sånn at det er så høyt opp at den plasten smelter lett uten at det tar fyr. Og hva dere ser her er ganske åpenbart. Jeg trenger ikke å kommentere det. Og alle vil ha disse flisene som vi lager. For det er ikke noe sand, det er ikke noe fast grunn under føttene for folk her, det er bare sand. Så vi mener at det er et marked der, og alle vil ha det, men vi har ikke funnet riktig pris. Vi trenger å snakke med folk mer om en businessmodell, og det er en liten trøst for oss at vi tror ikke, vi har ikke oppdaget at noen andre har løst denne nøtta her, da har knekt denne nøtta. Vi jobber hardt for det, men hvis noen har tips til oss, så er vi veldig glad for det. Og disse da, som igjen, teknologi er fantastisk, og vi trenger det veldig. Men dette, når vi reiser fra Senegal, så må noen andre ta over. Og det er ikke bokstavelig at disse jentene skal gjøre det, men disse lokale som vi jobber tett sammen med, er nødt til å gjøre det. Men vi er nødt til å være der inntil vi har bevist at dette kan gå av seg selv, at det er bærekraftig på alle måter. Ja, det siste kan man lese hvis man er veldig interessert. Takk for oss.
Great. Thank you. It's very understandable that we go over the time. There's so many great learnings and challenges to be presented. So we'll take that with us and use it in our workshop later. So now we were presented with a more small-scale way of handling plastic, and now we will welcome back Nora to the stage. There you are. To talk about the Clean the Country project in Kenya.
This is a partnership project we are having with New Life Mission Aid in Kenya. As earlier mentioned, we have Buyback Center, so this is one of the projects we are having with New Life Mission Aid, funded by Retailers Environment Fund. These are our partners we work with. New Life Mission Aid is our project manager initiator, has been there for 40 years of experience in Kenya. NGI has a vast experience in working with plastic recycling in rural areas in Africa and has been valuable sparring partner. We have Takataka Solutions, which is the East Africa largest recycling company based in Nairobi, active in collecting, sorting, composting, and plastic recycling. We have Human Rights, which is also a partner, have been involved in several plastic recycling projects in Africa, adapting technical solutions to fit local conditions, application and circumstances. This is our model for the Clean the Country project with New Life Mission Aid. We create awareness through engagement with community, local authority to mobilize informal waste workers working in the landfill. And how we create awareness is through the churches, because I explained earlier that 90% of our people, including myself, go to church on Sundays. So we get to get a lot of crowd there. Collection of recyclable waste from dump site through the buyback center, as well as from residential church goers through the mini hubs. New Life Mission Aid, our partner, where we have the project in Kisumu, have mini hubs where they collect waste from different churches, take it to the main hub, and then deliver it to our buyback center that later goes for recycling in our plant. Supporting waste pickers through the provision of social benefits such as PPEs and medical camps. This is a very crucial part. We empower the waste pickers by supporting them with protective clothing. That is, we give them a full set of kit of working clothing. That is the gumboots, the gloves, and all that. And also, we also teach them on how to take care of their health. So we do the medical camps on quarterly basis to make sure that they are doing well. We have sorting over 40 fractions of plastics, color material recovery facilities at the buyback center, and we have also been able to train New Life Mission Aid team so that they can be well experienced when they are training people in different churches and different communities and different youths and the waste pickers that we are collecting the waste from. So we've been able to teach them on, to teach and train them on recycling needs there. We recycle over 4 times plastics, waste volumes, and other key players than other key players in the market. That is a photo of our recycling plant. The project partnering with New Life Mission 8, these are the things New Life Mission is also assisting us with. Previously, we never thought that this would be a game changer targeting the churches, because when people believe what their pastors tell them, if your pastor tells you you'll be healed tomorrow, you believe in that. So we thought, why not can't we do this initiative, this sensitization in the church? And when your pastor tells you you need to take care of the environment, you think, yeah, I need to take care of the environment because my pastor is telling me so, and I need to believe in what my pastor is telling me than what maybe probably the politicians are telling us. So New Life Mission has created a good role in this, in our partnership, by creating awareness, reaching out to 3,000 people in Kebuye market through a creative fellowship function. Fellowship, how the fellowship function in Kenya is massive. It's not like here, if you call people for fellowship, it's really massive. People gather there, they want to pray, they want to listen to their pastors. Held sessions on the radio, TV stations, radio and TV stations, reaching out to over 30% of the population in over 175 sub-counties. Sub-counties, these are, Kenya, we have 60 million people. We are not a small population. So 175 covering 30%, that is almost 5 million people in that area. We are that big. 364 people have been reached through the social media and over 1,000 people per month through the churches. You can see the number there. It's massive. This is one of our projects that we never thought that this would really kick up, but it has been a game changer in terms of sensitization of many people at a go. The non-dump site collection, New Life Mission, with ourselves, we've been able to collect to non-dump site collection through household plastic collection. The team distribute the Gani bags. That is a motorbike, because for quick distribution, there's a lot of traffic sometimes. So if you use the motorbike, it's quick to go from household to household, from church to the other church. Continuous collection through the mini hubs has been done, and New Life Mission Aid has also received plastic waste accumulated by the Kisumu National Polytechnic. We are also trying to do this deeper by targeting the schools and also the Christian schools based, or not even non-Christian school based, just to reach out to the crowd. NLM team, that is a photo of NLM team getting training in one of our material recovery facility, which is the biggest there. They were taught on different colors, different quality of plastics, on how to sort it. And sorting is done every Friday at the mini hub because they already have received the training. Sorting plastic is taken to the buyback center, which is owned by Taka Solutions, and we transport the waste to Nairobi. So it's actually very expensive because you can't put a recycling plant in every town. It can be very expensive. This is what we've been able to achieve so far. We are collecting 30 to 50 tons of plastics per month, handling from both the dump site and Kisumu City, where we have the Clean the Country project with New Life Mission. 100 plus tons from the dump site collection through the churches. Over 2 years, it's gonna be 1,480 to almost close to 2,000 tons of plastic will be recycled. The outcome so far is collecting 10 to 15 tons has been done in this particular facility, and approximately 1 ton delivered from, more than 1 ton delivered from the churches. And churches, they will just carry small amounts to the churches. So this is a very big number. 1 ton is massive. So far, 60 tons of waste have been recovered both from the dam site and from the non-dam site. And achieved the plastic recycled in-house and sold to Kenyan manufacturers. So this project has also increased the materials that we need for our recycling plant. And these are the beautiful photos of us doing the medical checkup for the waste pickers. If you can recognize my beautiful face there, connecting with the waste pickers there, I'm always on the ground. I'm just looking cleaner today because I'm in Norway. Yeah, but this is what I do every day. The sensitization there, that is actually being done by New Life Mission, okay? And the team there is just a photo of the training. We have challenges. Every job has challenges. And where we have the buyback center in Kisumu, it's like 25 kilometers off-road. So you have to spend more hours going there for collection of materials. So there is poor road network that is impassable, that is actually almost not impassable during the heavy rains, and which results to minimum volumes. Insufficient storage at the main hub is a challenge, and New Life Mission 8 has also experienced that. So we need more space. If you need to have a center for recycling, you need a big space, because you can imagine 1 ton of plastics 500 can fill up like this room. So you need good space to get the capacity. Plans to increase plastic waste collected. This is what we need to do, and we are anticipating to achieve. Identifying and reaching waste pickers that are not operating at the dam site, continuous engagement with the county government. And we have found a system now that can be expanded to other areas. So we feel that if we get more funding, if we have the financial muscle, this can be expanded to other counties in Kenya. But we are only doing it in Kisumu at the moment. Machinery is something to really look at, because you can't do recycling without machinery. And also for New Life Mission especially needs to get, they have plans to get a biller, but they need to get a biller where they can be able to be transporting more waste to the buyback center. And increased fractions to collect. We are focusing also with other materials that can be recycled. So we are not only focusing on plastic alone, we are also focusing on plastics that have not been collected before, and we find a solution for recycling. Okay, and that's a beautiful photo of us doing the sensitization in Kisumu. My small face, still beautiful face there, interacting with the waste pickers. And I can confidently say this project is a game changer. It's a game changer in the recycling, and also the target market for waste sector and plastic collection.
Hi. Are we ready to start the second half of the first block? Yes. Woo. Okay. Just gonna let people get settled. It's great to see that you are all talking to each other. So next up we have Sigve, who will present Clean Oceans through Clean Communities.
Everyone, can you hear me well? Yes. Yes. So Clean Oceans through Clean Communities is a project by Avfall Norge, the Norway Waste Association. And I'm sorry, I actually prepared my presentation in Norwegian, so I'll continue in Norwegian. Så vi er jo egentlig ikke teknologi, men takk for invitasjonen likevel. Vi jobber egentlig først og fremst med lokale myndigheter, og da egentlig liksom fylkesnivå, og lage avfallsplaner. Så utvikle planer for avfallshåndtering på fylke- og kommunenivå lokalt. Og vi har 3 områder vi jobber i. Vi begynte i Banyuwangi på Øst-Java, og så har vi Tabanan på Bali, og så begynte vi for et år siden i India, Chengalpattu i Tamil Nadu. Og de 3 områdene til sammen har ca. 5 millioner innbyggere. Så Hvis vi blir en stor suksess, så blir det veldig bra. Men det er et langt lerret å bleke, men vi har jobbet ganske mye, og særlig i Banyuwangi har vi kommet ganske langt, og egentlig stort sett ferdig med plan. Så som sagt, så vi går ikke på teknologi, men mer på helhetlig system og systemutvikling. Vi starter med en veldig grundig baseline-rapport, der vi kartlegger både hvor mye avfall som genereres, hvordan det behandles, alle avfallsstrømmer, hvor stor er lekkasjen. Og så jobber vi med myndighetene over tid på å utvikle en plan for hvordan det skal se ut. Og det er typisk en 20-årsplan som både inneholder mye governance og institusjon, men også anbefalt anleggsstruktur og hvordan infrastrukturen skal bli. Så vi er ikke teknologiproviders selv, men vi legger liksom et grunnlag for at teknologiaktører kan komme og gjøre en forskjell over tid i samarbeid med lokale myndigheter. Jeg skal spare dere for å gå gjennom det waste flow-diagrammet, men det har vi i alle planene. Og de baseline-rapportene ligger på hjemmesiden vår, så det går det an å se. Der kan det være ganske interessant informasjon som egentlig er mye som er generisk i forhold til hvordan landskapet ser ut i de områdene vi er i hvert fall, og med stor overføringsverdi. Så det som vi har funnet er at i forhold til marin forsøpling så er lekkasjen til sjø klart størst i mindre byer og landsbyer. Megabyene har en avfallsinnsamling på plass, kan definitivt bli mye bedre, og selvfølgelig er det mye lekkasje der også. Men det er når vi kommer ut forbi byene at det er virkelig stor lekkasje. 2/3 av kommunene i Banyuwangi har ikke noe innsamlingssystem overhodet. Byen har ganske bra system, så 80% av lekkasjen kommer egentlig fra ut forbi byen. Vi kaller det for villages, men de er oppe i en 25 000 innbyggere i størrelse, så det er vel kanskje mer riktig å si kommuner, som det er lite og ingenting. Mens Jakarta for eksempel, så samles det inn 8000 tonn med mixed waste hver dag. Selv om det også er lekkasje, så er egentlig hovedproblemet eller i hvert fall et kjempestort problem, det er at de samler jo bare inn mixed, og det havner på deponi med veldig stor metanutslipp, og branner har det vært mye av det siste, mye lokal forurensning fra deponi. En viktig observasjon man skal drive, det er hvor stor andel organisk avfall det er i de fleste land både i Asia og Afrika. Det ligger på 60-70%, gjerne 50% mat, 15% annet organisk, så 60-70%. Plasten utgjør ca. 15 og opp imot 20% av vekt, og av det igjen så er ca. 2/3 myk plast. Vi har ikke brutt det ned i alle plasttyper, vi har bare skilt på hard og myk. Og uformell sektor, det som går til gjenvinning er jo stort sett bare uformell sektor som samler inn. Men de tar jo selvfølgelig det som har verdi. De blir ikke betalt for å ta. Så veldig mye av LDPE, multilayer, blir jo ikke samlet inn. Så i forhold til marin forsøplingsproblemet så trengs det andre virkemidler, for det er ikke nok verdi i plasten til at den kan bli samlet inn av uformell sektor. Den er for lite verdt til at returlogistikken kan komme ned på den kostnaden. Ja, så hvis vi skal se litt sånn på utfordringer og muligheter, så i de megabyene så det er jo selvfølgelig et stort problem at alt bare er organisk. Det er jo også en mulighet for noen teknologier selvfølgelig, men det er lav betalingsvilje på gate fees, og det er vanskelig å få til business case på den mixed wasten hittil i hvert fall. Men jeg vil snakke egentlig mest om de mindre byene og ruralt. Det er der som vi vil fokusere. Det er veldig utfordrende å få på plass. Nå har vi laget en avfallsplan, og det er liksom oppslutning om den på politisk nivå, om at vi må få innsamlingen opp i 100% og 60% i gjenvinning og sånn. Men at the end of the day, når det skal betales avfallsgebyr, så er det veldig vanskelig å få på plass, og det er vanskelig å lage systemet uten avfallsgebyr. Så det er krevende, men det er der vi vil fokusere, og det er helt nødvendig at vi løser det også i de mindre byene, ikke bare fokusere på de store. selv om det mer utfordrende. Så det vi ønsker oss og vil fokusere på, det jo vi må få universell, altså obligatorisk innsamling med avfallsgebyr, så vi må jobbe politisk på kommunenivå. Men vi må også jobbe nedstrøms med å få behandling av det avfallet lokalt. Og det selvfølgelig mer krevende på mindre steder enn store, for du får mindre kvantum. Og så vil jeg slå et slag for at det med seg at behandling av organisk avfall egentlig kjempeviktig overfor plasten. For når alt blandet, for det første, når alt blandet, så alt dårlig verdi. Men det andre også at hvis du samler inn 60-70% av avfall i vekt, klarer vi ikke å gjøre noe verdi ut av, så det en veldig stor kostnadsdriver. Så vi integrerer, selv om et plastprosjekt, så integrerer vi løsninger på organisk avfall. Black Soldier Fly larveoppdrett har vi satt i gang flere steder, veldig stor tro på. Og noe biogass har jeg tro på i fremtiden. Kanskje også RDF, altså Refuse Derived Fuel, del av løsningen noen steder, selv om det ikke den optimale løsningen, så kan det være en del av løsningen, i hvert fall på kort og mellomlang sikt. Men vi i hvert fall tenker at en del av løsningen for plast også å få verdikjeder på organisk. Hvis du ikke, hittil så har stort sett løsningen vært å lage kompost, men det klarer de i byer så kan du nok selge kompost og få noe økonomisk verdi, men når du kommer ut i de mer rurale områdene som så får du ikke solgt komposten, og da blir det en veldig stor kostnadsdriver i systemet, og så ender det opp på landfill med store metanutslipp i stedet for. Så vi integrerer organisk i de løsningene som går etter. Dette her egentlig bare en ønskeliste, altså når det så vanskelig å få til innsamlingen og få dekket kostnadene, så hvis det teknologileverandører her som også har smarte løsninger på logistikk, på digitale løsninger for, ikke bare for sporing, men også for å knytte lojalitet til abonnentene for eksempel, at de får flere med på å frivillig betale avfallsgebyr, frivillig være med på innsamlingsordninger. Det ting som jeg ønsker å se på og utvikle, men det ikke ting som vi har per i dag, men det ting som jeg tror kan være smart å integrere i løsningene. Så litt sånn utfordring til smarte hoder her, at det det også behov for. Det ikke bare den fysiske plastbehandlingen, men i systemet så det mange ting som vi trenger. Da har jeg bare lyst til å avslutte med en liten sånn så Klokk-prosjektet, i hvert fall Norge, jobber med å utvikle avfallsplaner, og så vi i gang nå med å dra i gang en sånn spin-off fra det, som kalt for Klokk Solutions, som et social business, altså et privat selskap, men uten profittformål, uten utbytte. Så vi skal prøve å bidra med å implementere disse avfallsplanene, og det kommer til å jobbe med en NGO som jobber mot lokale myndigheter på kommunenivå med bevisstgjøring, med å få opp innsamling og community-prosjekt. Og så har vi stiftet et social business i Indonesia også, som vi kaller for Go Circular Indonesia, som i større grad skal prøve å dra i gang lokale entreprenører, offentlig-privat partnerskap, innovative løsninger, entreprenørskap, og prøve å dra i gang private aktører inn i systemet og få dette til å jobbe sammen, sånn at vi både jobber oppstrøms og nedstrøms for å bidra til å implementere de planene som vi har laget. Så dette helt i startfasen, så forhåpentligvis kan jeg komme tilbake kanskje om et år eller to med mer konkrete resultater av det. Nå det bare en sånn, nå kjører vi. Ja, tusen takk.
Tusen takk, Signe. Da har vi siste quickfire før diskusjon. Så da det Karl Johan som... Sorry, yeah, this is what happens with hybrid I'll invite Karl Johan from Northland to talk a little bit about funding project. Thank you.
Thank you. Så
Fikk du den klikken?
Det går bra, det kan han bare si hvor mye penger du tar inn der, du.
Here we go. So I'm from Norfund, and very quickly about Norfund. That is the Norwegian government's fund for investment into developing countries. We have been around for 25 years now, and we are based here in Oslo. We have 5 regional offices, one in Cape Town, one in Nairobi, one in Accra, one in Bangkok, and one in San Jose, Costa Rica. We are roughly 130 employees. We manage 40 billion NOK, and we get our financing from the government. But most of what we manage is actually recycled capital from old investments which we have exited. So we don't give away money, we invest and we get it back and we redeploy it, the same amount of money into new companies. So therefore, that goes. And we are part, so to say, of the or our financing calculates as aid money, so to say. We have our primary focus is on sub-Saharan Africa. We have more than 60% of our investments there, actually. But we also, as mentioned, focus on other regions, but only developing countries and primarily least developed countries. We have 4 different investment areas: renewable energy, which is solar and hydro and wind; financial inclusion, that's banks and microfinance loans; we have scalable enterprises, which is agriculture, manufacturing; and then the investment area which I lead, which is green infrastructure, and that is waste and water. And this last investment area has only been around for 3 years, so still building up the portfolio. So I'll just talk a little bit about this. It's a lot of repetition now from what we spoke about during this morning, so I'll try to highlight just perhaps what has not been mentioned before. I think Sigrid touched a little bit on it, that most of the low-value waste types are mixed at source, and I think we have seen more also than 7% organic. We've seen 80% organic, and that is fairly the same across most of the developing countries. On so say, what then prevents this recycling from happening? So I could lift out a couple of things. So scale is one. Most companies are at a level of 500 tons per month or below. So at that scale, I think there are a handful of companies in each country, something like that. In comparison to European scale companies, that's very, very small. So a different approach is needed. One thing which hasn't been mentioned this morning is that for plastic specifically, the prices fluctuate a lot. If you take PET, recycled PET prices have dropped by 50% just during the last year. And of course, that changes fundamentally how a business case works out and which technology can be used and how much you can afford to spend on collection. You can also say that in general, I think it perhaps goes without saying, but waste management has 3 financial components. It's the material value which you get out of it. It's the process cost you put in for producing that material value, also including the cost for collection. And then it's a gate fees, which is a support from consumers in the end, or taxpayers. And that gate fee rarely exists or is at a very shy level compared to what we have here. So therefore, other solutions are needed, but there are solutions, and we have invested made 2 investments in plastic recycling in Africa during the last year. We see 2 different types of solutions. One is manufacturing companies which backward integrate. So that means that there's a plastic manufacturer, they have some production, and they perhaps struggle getting getting access to the raw material they need. So they set up a small recycling installation, and then they gradually grow that. And that's a very organic and clever way to do it. It's seldom seen here in Europe, but we've seen many cases of that. The positive thing with it is that the company already have a cash flow, so they can support growing that with their own, so say, existing organization, and they also have their own offtake for whatever recycled content they are producing. So they don't need to go out and search for someone to buy it; they use it themselves. And the other type of investments which we look at are fairly young companies which set up their own collection. Since they are seldom organized collection, the companies need to do that by themselves. And there are different models for doing that. One is collaborating with waste pickers and to some degree formalizing that and incentivizing them and having kind of digital models for how to pay and so on. But another is to employ them. And one of the companies we invested in to do exactly that. But via franchises. So they have a model where they have small collection hubs across the country. Each of those hubs employ some 20, 50 people. And so it's also a very good, I think, way for job creation. Then very short about those two investments we've made. One is called Miniplast. So it's located in Ghana. They produce chairs, buckets, quite simple products. And they are one example of a company which then has set up a recycling process. It's very, very basic, that recycling process. So it's a couple of shredders. They don't, or didn't, when we invested, have any proper wastewater treatment, so they also clean the plastics, and there's a lot of microplastics floating out. So part of what we struggle with, so to say, when we do such investments is the level of health and safety and environmental focus. So when we invest, we put in place, so to say, an environmental action plan, which forces the company to implement certain actions. So that could be a wastewater treatment installation, it could be sound protection, it could be PPE for employees, and more or less to raise the levels of operation to European standards. So in that case, that was a $10 million loan. Other complications which we are faced with is, in that specific example, just macroeconomics. So Ghana defaulted last year. That created a lot of issues when it comes to foreign exchange. So getting or getting dollars, let's say, for the company, and of course also for us, that it puts pressure on them to pay their interest rates, which are in dollars, but they have their incomes in local currencies. Shifting to the other company, that's Recyclers, a Nigerian PET recycling company. They have established a collection network. They have some 10,000 people which supply them with waste. So they go around with bicycles and collect it from different households. And but they don't have a process, so they currently bale the material, and we have then provided them with a loan, so they will build a hot wash plant with a 12,000 ton per year capacity. The fine thing with that company specifically is that they have a collaboration with an Italian plastic recycler, which transfers them their knowledge, expertise, and is kind of the guarantor for the process working. They also have an off-take agreement with the same company. So the one of the risks when we faced this was that how would they ensure a sufficient quality? But through this collaboration, then there is at least some degree of of support for that. Yeah, no, I think that's what I had to say.
On the second.
Great. Thank you, Knut. Now we're moving on to the value for waste in Ethiopia with Siv from Kirkens Nødhjelp.
Can you hear me in the back? Okay. I prepared this presentation in Norwegian, but I will try to do it in English. But bear with me if I'm stumbling a bit. So we call it actually waste for value. This methodology and initiative that we have in Ethiopia. And as I was presented, my name is Siv Øystese, and I work for Norwegian Church Aid, which is a humanitarian organization, Norwegian organization working with humanitarian aid, but also long-term development. And I'm going to talk about waste for value in Ethiopia, that we are is part of a circular economy project that we are doing on waste management and recycling in Ethiopia together with our partners. So Ethiopia is one of the strongest or fastest increasing plastic production in Africa, and now it's 380,000 tons of plastic is produced every year, but only 6% is recycled. And unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of attention to this in Ethiopia, and the result is a lot of waste in nature, in cities, in ditches. You see it everywhere. So this is becoming quite a big environmental problem in Ethiopia. Back in 2019 is when this story started, and NCA, together with Engineers Without Borders, actually, was sitting down to discuss, okay, how can we solve the problem of an increasing amount of waste in the refugee camps up in Gambella, and also in the surrounding communities. What can we do about this? How can we incentivize people to actually collect the waste? And is it possible also to have some income generation from this? Camilla Bjerkli, that was at that point working for Engineers Without Borders, together with our staff in Ethiopia, was sitting down together with local partners to find a model to work on this. And what is interesting, or this model that they developed has now been further developed since 2019, and together with a number of partners, local partners, governments, etc. And I will talk a little bit about this model here today. So now in 2023, in addition to working in the refugee camps, we are also working along the road going from Addis Ababa and down to Nairobi in Kenya. There's an extreme, a lot of waste along this road, but it's also, the good thing there is it's also quite easy to send back the waste that is collected back to Addis Ababa, where the waste can be recycled. And today we work with 18 small and medium-sized companies that is now collecting waste and having an income and profit from that. And we are doing this with support from the Kavli Foundation, Bevi, where the same Camilla is now Director for Sustainability, in addition to MFA and other partners. And we are now having almost 800 people that are benefiting and having an income from this. So the model is quite simple, and I think we have heard different versions of it from other presenters today. But we are organizing what we call marginalized people, unemployed, a lot of them women. And they are being helped to set up these small businesses and getting in a license. So they are collecting waste and getting paid for that as a salary. In addition, they are also buying waste from local collectors. And then they are organizing it, they are sorting it, and they are compressing it or baling it using very simple baling machine, but very effective to reduce the volume. And this makes it easier and cheaper also to transport the waste up to the recycling factory that we have an agreement with close to Addis Ababa. And in this factory, the plastic is being recycled into different products like rooms or pellets and so on. So this is a very, very kind of easy but very efficient way of handling this plastic. In addition to this, we are also working at the regulatory side together with the Ethiopian government and also PETCO, which is industry, like it's an umbrella organization for the plastic producers in Ethiopia. To develop new legislation and new laws around waste management, and also to have EPR, extended producer responsibility law coming in, and also working on making it possible to recycle plastic and using it for new, like bottles, being used for bottles again and using it in the food industry. So some of the results that we are seeing now is, of course, the environmental effect. The cities are actually getting a lot cleaner where we are working. We see income, decent income for the women and men that are engaged in this. We see that on average, if you work full-time on collecting, you earn about 1,000 Norwegian kroner a month. It's a comparison, someone working for the government or community is maybe earning 1,300. So it's a kind of a decent income. And the companies also, they have profit, so they become sustainable. And what is also nice with this is that as soon as the small companies are up and running, we are kind of still with them, but we are then moving on to a new city and a new route, and we can in that way scale the model to other areas. So it's a sustainable model. We also see that the government is very much engaged and that we are supporting the circular economy in the country, because these recycling factories, they have actually not been able to source as much as they wanted. So this is also helping them to increase their capacity. And I think I just want to say something about the partnerships here, because I think what we are able to do is it has a lot to do bringing in different types of partners with different types of knowledge and capacity, etc. And I think that's quite important when we want to try to solve some of these problems that we are here to discuss today. So on one end, we have the partners, Kavli Foundation and Bevi coming in with money and funding, but also Bevi, for example, that is a producer of plastic emballage. Packaging. Yes, packaging. And also you doing a lot of recycling in their work is coming in with also technical competency and helping us with that. So it's kind of a really strong or good to have that expertise in the project. We have the policy side, but also the local government is coming in with housing and areas for the groups to be in, definitely, permits, etc. And we have local partners that are running the day-to-day operation. And then on the other side, we have the small-scale businesses that have their kind of interest and are investing into this. The market partners, the recycling factory, and also, of course, the waste collectors. And I think together we are actually able to do some good stuff here. There are always some challenges, and I think some of them have been mentioned here today, so maybe we can find some solutions together. The high transportation cost, I think Sigve was mentioning this earlier today, it's 50% of the cost is for transportation. So this is a huge problem that we want to try to find solutions for. We have discussed with, for example, Coca-Cola that are saying, yes, we can actually help taking the waste back to Addis, but they are also afraid of their reputation, bringing dirty stuff into their vans. So maybe there are some technical solutions for that, I don't know. And then we are looking into, okay, can more of the plastic and waste be recycled locally to avoid the costs and also to create production and income locally, but in a affordable way and in a way that these small businesses can actually handle. We see that the market there's a lot to do, and the market is there, but we need, of course, funding, and we need, but also technical solutions to do more. So we see this as a start, and yeah, I think that was it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. This is great. We have 2 more presentations before we go into discussion. We're just gonna do this as a long bulk and then have a break. So now I'd like to welcome up Henrik from Norwaste, who will talk about plastic handling in industrial scale in Ghana.
Thank you, Astrid. You hear me? Yeah. These slides are, as the former ones from Steve, also in English or combined Norwegian and English. So bear with me with that. But I will try to give the presentation in English. The reason that I was asked to give a presentation about the project that we were engaged with for the Plastic Revolution Foundation. That was a foundation formed by the industrial builder or one of the richest men in Norway, Kjell Inge Røkke, back in 2019. So this project is some years ago, but I think the story about it is still relevant. So and I will try to give you a short overview. It is just very briefly, Norwaste. We are a Norwegian waste management consultancy specializing on waste value chains. It is very interesting for me standing here before my previous work as a head of waste department in Avfall Norge, the branch organization. I was very much involved with the politicians, with the former government, to establish the understanding that if you want to reduce marine littering globally, you need to address the lack of waste management infrastructure. And so that resulted happily in this quite substantial program that was launched and is still going on, like the Clock project and other projects. And as we see here today, there is a huge variety of good projects. We have been, as part of the consultancy when we founded it, it was that we wanted to be committed to be working in the global south with projects, and we can be so proud to say that we have constantly been involved in projects, like in Indonesia for Avfall Norge, also for Delterra, like in India for Norad, like in Ethiopia for Penda, or also the British agency, Mali for Strømstiftelsen, Ghana twice, also for the Norfund project that Karl Johan mentioned earlier today, and then I'm going to tell you about the PRF Plastic Revolution project. And here is the starting point, so to say. As we've all seen lots of those kind of pictures. Accra, the capital of Ghana. Situation is like about 50% of the inhabitants do not have access to waste collection. So that is the primarily the cause for this situation, and of course it's not a good habitat for livings. These fishing boats were, when we were the first time, were kept where they were not allowed to go out fishing because there were so much issues with plastic pollution. And it's it's a good picture showing like nice but not so nice, right? Sorry for the Norwegian, but the starting point was that the company Aker Energy, which is with the Røkke, so to say, ownership family, had 2 oil fields outside Ghana, offshore. They wanted to merge those oil fields and get a huge synergy. And I'm not here to talk about oil business, but it's sometimes it has a correlation. And as it is in such cases, sometimes you need to do local content, CSR, whatever you call it. You need to give something back. And Tillin Grøkke, he wanted to give something back to the Ghanaian society, but he wanted to do it in a way that makes an impact. So he said, okay, I see a lot of littering in the strand, on the beaches, etc., etc. Can we solve this? Can we do this in an industrial way? So his approach was that he wanted to build a pyrolysis plant treating 20,000 tons of plastics per year, which is quite big. Not enormous, but quite big. And he got his engineers in Aker Energy. There's a lot of them. They're good, I think. I have nothing else to, at least I have no other opinion about it. They would be very good in sort of setting up this technology, pyrolysis, and downstream, what to do with the pyrolysis oil, etc., etc. We were contacted to do the, so to say, the dirty part of it, how to secure a facility, an industrial plant that wants to operate with 20,000 tons. And Nora, you gave some impressions about how, I mean, it's a value chain. You need to make sure that you get enough of the volume, but of course you also need to get enough of the quality. No, I'm not going through this, but there is an end report from this project, which is open, accessible at the webpage. We, together with PRF, we identified 2 approaches. The one approach is the typical approach. We've heard a lot about it today, and it's very typical, or it's the traditional approach, so to say, using waste pickers, and then you have a different value chain, so to say. You have aggregators who buy from waste pickers, and then you have sometimes it's a transporting taking place, and then you have the final recyclers, which can be family-owned small businesses, and it can be greater businesses. And then you have, parallel to this, you have, so to say, the formal collection, or the semi-formal collection. You have in Accra, you have a lot of those bola taxis. We saw a picture of that earlier today. And we have real waste compactors doing parallel collection. And then this is going to facilities being sorted. And that is, so to say, the more difficult approach to say, okay, can we do something with this stream? Can we extract plastic from that stream? To put it, those 2 possibilities together, If you do the simple solution to buy plastics, I'm not saying it's simple, it's a simplifying word here, but you have the possibilities is going to be clean and a specified quality, at least somewhat specified. But you have the challenges we spoke about, informal sector. If Aker as a company should go into buying up plastics, there will be a lot of issues. Child labor, etc., etc., etc. How to do that in a secure way. Not an easy approach if you really go into it. And then what kind of a role should they play? I suggest to read more about that in the final report. Then the other approach is to say, okay, can we build upon the existing sorting facilities that you have in place? We engaged with a local, the biggest waste management company in Ghana, like Norsk Gjenvinning in Norway. They have huge sorting plants with conveyor belts, with drum screens for taking out the organics, which is a very important part, because if the organics is together with the rest of the waste, it's impossible to do something good in sorting. And they used drum screens to take that out and did composting. They also had the recyclables taking out. And the approach here was so to say, okay, we want to build pyrolysis, but we don't want to ruin the existing material recycling value chains. So then we had to go for the rest, for the stream of conveyor belts that was not recycled already. We did 2 full-scale pilots at those plants. We so to say take-over actions. We took over the whole plants, redid the sorting regimes from positive sorting to negative sorting, and do it twice, so to say, in order to achieve the wanted quality. We did comprehensive testing on the output, dry matter content, plastic content, which is important for a pyrolysis plant, and then some major issues like if you want to do pyrolysis, you want to look at some components like chlorides and sulfurs, and etc., etc. I'm not going into this slide, but this shows, so to say, how the existing flow of materials is going, where a lot of the material goes to residual waste and goes to a landfill. And our approach was, so to say, to turn this into from the residual stream, and out of that extract what we call the PTL material, which should be then as a quality manageable for pyrolysis. So this is a very seldom project, which has we are not aware of very many projects like this. And the question is, of course, did it work? The sorting results we got, I know I'm a little bit out of time, so I'm very the seconds left. This is showing the sorting results from the pilot, and also some of the issues that were not so good. Here are the quality criteria for pyrolysis, and here are the results. So very summarized. The volumes, check. We did show that we could get enough volumes, but there was obviously a need for further cleaning, which is not very surprising, but still. And another project funded by the Handelsmiljøfond went deeper into the story of how can you clean after sorting. Because you also have issues with, if you introduce water, you have a wastewater issues as well, and the cost will increase. So, very briefly, the key extracts from this project is that, as having been said before, rigid plastics, I don't consider that as a big issue. I think it also is more about, so to say, capacity building. Like the case with Norfund. It is the rest of the plastic that is the problem, and I strongly believe that the first approach there is to, so to say, gather enough of quality and do sorting in sorting facilities. This sorting facility, as you see here in the picture behind, is normal technology. It's nothing new, and you see that in European cities all over us as well. And then it's a question: what can you do with the final output? We tried PTL. The project, the status of that is that the project has not it's not been realized, and one reason of that is also linked to the beginning of the story, that the oil project was stranded. The Kjell Røkke, so to say, lost his interest for doing this, so that was of course a little bit of a pity. So now the ownership of this thing is within the Aker Horizon company. Okay, thank you very much, and sorry for the delay.
Thank you, Henrik. Okay, we've arrived at the last presenter today, which is my colleague Gard, who from Human Rights, who will talk about technology adaptation through sustainable business models. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. How's it going? That was terrible. How's it going?
Yeah.
That was a lot better. Alright, I have, just like all the other presenters, a million things I'd like to say, but just a few that I can say, so I'm just going to fly through here. So my name is Gard Svigun. I am the founder of Human Rights. Today we have become 3 employees, 2 full-time, me and Astrid right here, and a lady named Katrina who does the admin stuff because I can't really do that. So I'm here to talk about technology adaptation via sustainable business models. So which means I'm going to talk about what kind of the core of what I do, and a very bright young woman named Alice Langset, who wrote a master's thesis on application of business models onto the kind of work that we do, which has proven to be quite a fantastic bit of work. It's available at Engineers Without Borders website. You should get into it. So, when I'm talking about technology adaptation, it's kind of about changing parts of existing technology or coming up with something new. And with the business models is how we organize a business around that, and how those two things sort of come together. Just a quick, so I'm going to do a quick intro on human rights. It's going to be very quick. I'm going to fly through some slides. And then I'm going to talk about business models and the kind of the philosophy of what we do and how that sort of comes together. And then finally, some challenges and benefits, because that's what we're here to do today, talk about problems. So I'm going to do that through 2 projects, Shredder that we used in Uganda, and a pyrolysis unit, good segue, that we've been working on for a little while. So it all started. I'm going to have some final remarks at the end. You know. So it all started here in Ethiopia, 2019. I went on a mission with Engineers Without Borders, and I realised that there was, let's just say, there was a potential for the technical longevity of the project management of it, kind of. Like realizing that you'd need technical people working on this full-time for it to work, because the project was very ambitious and the conditions were absolutely terrible in order to get anything working. No roads, pretty much, and there was no electrical grid, and there was a bit of, Al-Shabaab and then some civil wars and, stuff. So this is where it started. This is 100,000 stories from there. And about a year later, Human Rights was founded, which until recently was just me, but now I have friends. So, it says move quick AF here, so I'm going to do that. We are currently involved in 4 projects, the black dots there. and these are 2 projects that we finished. This is the one in Ethiopia that I just showed you a bit from, which is over. There's another one we did in Algeria, in a refugee camp there, and now we have one ongoing in Nepal with the wonderful people of Grid Isle. And then there's one in Uganda, which is I'm going to be talking about quickly. And then there's one in Kenya that we work with. Nora has presented to you a couple of times today already. And then there's a new one comes up here that we're doing with recycling of used protective equipment for mine clearing. If that made any sense. So we're going to see what we can do out of that. So what I do, I better get used to saying that. So basically it's a bunch of engineering stuff. We do waste management system development, we do consulting, just doing different projects on technical quality assurance, stuff like that, technical lead. We do concepts of machines and designs, prototyping, testing, and then of course implementation. Most of all, learning. This all kind of comes together in a big sort of mission to try and figure out how we can most effectively help local communities battle plastic pollution right in their backyards. So I'm going to get to the point of like the philosophy and business models part of things, and we're going to start with this picture that I stole from the internet. This is a rusting heap of machinery, which is not an uncommon sight out there in the world of development aid. Call it the machine graveyard. And to be blunt, some projects they get the money and they look, oh, we could use a machine for this, and then you buy a machine, you put it there, buy it from like China or India or Europe, wherever. You put it there, you give people some basic training, it works for a couple of weeks, the project is over, you take the picture, and you go home. And 2 months later, the whole thing crashes because there hasn't been done like a thorough enough engineering, like a due diligence process. Like the technical due diligence has just not been done. Like, oh, really, hydraulics won't work if there's sandstorms all the time? That kind of stuff. So this is kind of what we want to be working on, like improving that quality of the technical applications in these kinds of projects. And so, like, if you want the machines to like keep working, they need to be fit for the context that they're in, and the people operating them need the right incentives to do so. And this is why business models are important, which I've learned more about recently. So, establishing these business models, I'm going to try and recap what Alice wrote in her thesis on this. She's hopefully going to be writing a PhD on this and moving forward, and that would be absolutely fantastic for all the efforts that we do. So, establish these kinds of business models. Some things are very important. The triple bottom line. I guess many of you heard about this. Oh, Jesus, 3 minutes. All right, super quick. These are important aspects of establishing these things. And what we work on is the technical sustainability of things, the operational sustainability. I'm going to run quickly through, for example, this project we had in Uganda. We needed a shredder. We sent a manufacturer the drawings of this thing. This is a precious plastic Pro shredder. We tried. It took ages for them to respond, and it required way too much energy, and it cost way too much. And it requires manufacturing processes that are very complicated. And so, I had to get into designing a new one that can be made with very conventional machining tools, etc. And so, we could send the drawings to a technical college there, and they built it together with us and Amish sitting out the back here for 2 weeks down there. And doing that, involving people, and this thing is made 100% in Uganda. Which means that, we had some troubles there. They didn't make everything so that we spent quite some time on that to try and correct this. But with the trials and tribulations from here, the successes were, it's made there, which makes it easier for them to fix it, and they're actually fixing it themselves. They're actually improving the machine themselves after learning the things. But you know, they said we were going to have 230 volts. They gave us 160. That's an issue, right? The manufacturing issues that you just saw, like that, really affects the performance. And it's hard to find bias, etc. for flakes, for example. So these are some of the issues. Super quick. This is our pyrolysis unit, number 2, pyrolyse. That's her name. It's where you put a lot of waste in an oil barrel, you bolt it shut, you put it inside the machine, and you light a little fire under there. And there's a pipe that comes out underneath it that makes it go, take the trash away in a cleaner way than just burning it in a hole. So this is version 2. This is the previous one, Franken stove. That caught fire, so we had to build another one. And so we've been testing this. These pictures are from like this week. So all you need is some good friends, some very expensive emissions measuring equipment. You can see the little fire going there. It's heating the barrel inside the thing. You can talk to me later if you want to know how it works. I can talk about that for hours. And then the thing leaked again. So we had to put out the fire like this. But we did learn a lot from this, and we're getting very close to getting this thing to working, which means you can pyrolyze. That's my time. Which means you can get rid of waste very quickly, and there's a massive potential for exploiting the heat. I'm just going to have to run through that. Oh, there's more. These are some other machines we've been working on. Cleaning systems, a bike shredder. We've installed different places. And so there's all part of that process of trying to figure out something that you can put in the hands of those people already dealing with the waste to send them into that process of maturing until you get to the level where you can have industrial kind of recycling processes. Thank you.